I'm looking at news here on two politicians, two Democrats that have been recently indicted. One, Gabe Leland of Detroit, he is possibly headed to prison. He was indicted in October, and then now just today, the most recent update, they are trying to get him to leave office. They're trying to force him out of office early, given that he is facing this indictment. And people might also be following, or I've covered on this channel actually, a few things related to Jaziel Carrera as well. So it's relevant, I guess. Fellow Democrat Jaziel Carrera was elected as mayor of Fall River in Massachusetts at 23 years old. So Carrera was supposed to be a rising star in the Democrat Party. I think that's what the Democrats were hoping from him up until he was also arrested back in October. And then now, again, just in the last couple of days, they have said that they are going to probably trigger a recall election. There was a deadline for Carrera to step down. City Council tried to get him to voluntarily step down amid these charges that he's facing. Here's Carrera with Elizabeth Warren, also of Massachusetts. And meanwhile, he's not giving up very much info at all on what's going on with his case. And people are rightfully questioning, how is he even able to do a job as mayor while facing this criminal case? He's not being very forward on whether he's even going to various court hearings that are going on. There was one hearing recently, last month, December, and Fall River Mayor, who has been indicted in October, he's saying, I may or may not attend his own criminal hearing case. And meanwhile, he's still supposed to be doing his duties as mayor. So people, for that reason, and the serious charges as well, he's facing federal fraud charges. They are trying to get him removed. And most recent update, another article from today, just on Carrera, his situation. There is now a date set for March 12th for a recall election. And it's possible that Jaziel is going to fight that election based on some statements that he made as well. But that is currently what they're saying, that he will have to go through a recall election. That was after he was arrested in October. I've covered this. I won't do a full recap on Jaziel Carrera. We'll get more into the other bribery charges, this other indictment against Gabe Leland. But Carrera was facing these serious charges. Basically, just to very quickly recap, in October, he was arrested by federal agents on charges that he stole almost $250,000 from 7 people who had invested in his startup and spent the money on adult entertainment, airfare, a dating service, designer clothes, hotels, jewelry, trips to casinos, Mercedes-Benz, other sources, and the court documents lay out how he actually used some money for his own political campaign as well. So this was supposed to be money invested in a company. He didn't use 2/3 of it, was very clearly not used for anything to do with the company. Some of it went into his own political campaign, a lot of it for this personal things that they've listed here as well. And in October, he was arrested and pleaded not guilty to 13 counts of wire and tax fraud. So he is still dealing with that indictment, still having court dates that in some cases he's not even saying whether he will attend or not. Now he's facing this recall election for a lot of different reasons. They're trying to get him out of office early. So that's Jaziel Carrera, Democrat from Fall River, the mayor of Fall River, who, again, he was elected at 23 years old. So that's definitely going to hurt his political future, or what it would have been, what the Democrats were hoping to see from Carrera in the future. Also going on, Gabe Leland. So I haven't talked about Gabe Leland at all, but this is another indictment that the actual charges came in October, but he is still in office as of today. And now today, they're just saying that they are finally organizing a recall petition to try to get him removed. City resident has filed a petition to recall City Councilman Gabe Leland over his indictment on federal corruption and bribery charges. Some other serious charges that Leland is facing Ramon Jackson filed the petition with the Wayne County Clerk's Office on Thursday, citing the councilman's legal case as the reason. Jackson is an activist and longtime resident of Leland's council district. He's said that he's been advocating against the councilman for years. The district, he said, remains plagued with poverty, crime, homelessness, and vacancy. Leland's criminal case, he said, is another reminder that we totally are not being represented properly. It's a slap in the face to the people here in Detroit and to the residents, Jackson said Thursday. He has showed us that we can't trust him. It's not only a slap on the face of the residents, but a slap on the face of the municipality as well, he says. The councilman was indicted by a federal grand jury in October on bribery charges. So that's what Councilman Leland is facing. This was the same month that Carrera had these federal fraud charges as well. So they're both two individuals. They're both facing their separate recall elections to have them both hopefully removed from office early. Leland's bribery charges, they specify that he had been accused of agreeing to accept $15,000 and free car repairs from a city businessman. And there are other details as well. He was facing another lawsuit as well. Other bribes connected to Leland and other misconduct as well. But that's just the one thing they're highlighting here, this $15,000 bribe. Leland, they had asked for comment. He's not responding today for any comment about the recall election that he's facing. This most recent news here. Previously, they point out that Leland had told reporters just after the indictment that it'll be business as usual for him at City Hall, and that he was innocent until proven guilty. He vowed he'd continue to attend community meetings, respond to constituent concerns, and serve residents at the council table. Leland was reelected in November 2017 to a second four-year term on Detroit's council. Date for a hearing. There is a date for a hearing before the county's election commission. This is expected to be set within 24 hours of the Thursday petition filing. So of this current filing, state election procedure notes that the commission is required to meet between the 10th and the 20th day after the filing of the recall language to conduct a review. As soon as a county election commission approves a petition for clarity or factuality, and any circuit court appeals have concluded, the petition sponsors are then free to circulate their petition. Number of signatures needed to trigger a recall election is 25% of the votes cast in the officer's district for all candidates for the office of the governor. Lisa Williams Jackson is a spokeswoman for Wayne County Clerk's Office. She has said in an email that the deadline to submit the recall signatures, the deadline would depend on when the petition is approved. Approved language is good for 180 days. However, when the petitioner chooses to file the recall signatures is at the discretion of the petition. Williams Jackson noted that if a recall election is triggered by sufficient filing, it would be held during the next regular May or November election. This would be at least 95 days after the petitions are filed. Ramon Jackson on Thursday said after the verification process, potential appeals of the filing and the circulating days to obtain valid signatures, the group is hoping it can get the measure approved for the ballot as early as May, if not by November 2019. He said that I'm confident that we would obtain the signatures. What I'm not confident about is the bureaucracy of who would try to hinder the process downtown. Sealed FBI wiretap affidavits, these sealed FBI wiretaps previously obtained by Detroit News revealed months prior to Leland's indictment that he was the target of a federal bribery probe. So before the indictment officially dropped, this had been public. Recorded conversations played a prominent role in the indictment, they add, which portrayed the Detroit Democrat as using his political power to stall votes on a real estate matter involving Detroit auto shop owner Robert Carmack last year while demanding bribes at the same time. May 16th, 2017, Leland offered to help the businessman in exchange for $15,000 in free car repairs, the government claims. I should have asked for $30,000, Leland said, according to the indictment, but I'm nice to you. Leland was charged with bribery conspiracy and 2 counts of bribery one day after his campaign staffer was charged and accused of delivering the bribe from Carmack. If convicted, Leland faces 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine for each bribery count and 5 years for bribery conspiracy. Federal court records show a trial for Leland's staffer, Grubbs, and Leland. 2 trials slated for August. Both are scheduled to appear in court in July for a final pretrial conference in which they would have the option of entering a plea, according to court records. So it's pretty interesting. Again, 2 individuals here. Pretty good, I guess, start here, the charges, these indictments, but it is a serious problem that they are still in office, both Leland and Carrera. I have done a couple of videos talking about Carrera, so I'll continue to follow that. Obviously, the Fall River mayor, what is going on with him and those federal fraud charges related to his company, but I have not yet, up until this video, talked about Gabe Leland. It's just interesting. He's also had this indictment from October, and now they're going through these recall petitions. So I will follow that, and let me know what you think is happening here. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. I do have a link to my Patreon account in the video description, patreon.com/realityreader. Thanks everybody that supports the channel through there. I also have a PayPal link and a link to the original article. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will follow up soon. Thank you.